Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everyone. It's kind of amazing when you think about it, with all the technology that we have, digital, social, everything going on, AI, all of this, the one thing that is a constant is the written word, the verbal word. We're doing the same thing that they did 1,000 years ago. We're communicating using words. Today, we're going to look at that in a different way, poetry and more. And it invokes emotion. It invokes something within your mental state. And that's what she and her beautiful team do at New Beginnings up in Massachusetts. It's so great to have her back with us as our professional of the year. Sherri and Alexandrovich is with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, weathering the storm. How about you?
Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it's crazy out there.
Isn't it amazing? I'm in New York, you're Massachusetts, that even with that wide geographic area, we're still talking about the same storm. Crazy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're still digging out over here. We have 19 inches. It's unbelievable.
It's funny how there's always a commonality there when you think about it. And I think that's the beauty of things like poetry, where we can relate. You know, we read something, we might internalize it our own particular way, but it does resonate no matter who you are in some way. Isn't it interesting how that all works?
That's a great analogy. I love that. Yes, and so fitting for today's topic. Absolutely. That really is really good.
So you write poetry from time to time?
I don't know that I would say write poetry, but I do write down thoughts. And so, I tend to have like a lot of things sometimes that resonate for me, and it helps me to process when I can write things down. And so then I will kind of try to turn it into, not like your typical type of poetry, but in kind of meaningful ways. And I typically haven't shared a lot of these before. And I do have kind of a book that I've been writing some things down on. And so I thought maybe today I would read one of them, and then we could just kind of talk about it a little bit after.
I would love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the name of today's is called The Broken Charger. When your phone hits 2%, you don't ask questions, you reach. The broken charger, the overheating one, the one held together by hope and tape. Because when you're desperate for power, you stop caring about the source. You just want to feel alive again. That's how the heart moves when it's empty. When love was inconsistent, when being seen was conditional, when you learned how to survive before you learned how to rest. You stop checking intentions and start accepting attention. You call inconsistency connection. You call attention affection. You call closeness intimacy. Not because you don't know better, but because starvation makes decisions logic never gets to vote on. An empty heart will cling to anything warm, even if it burns you later. That's why people return to toxicity, why the patterns keep repeating, why the same faces keep showing up wearing different names. Because hunger will convince you that crumbs are real. But real love doesn't deplete you, it nourishes you. It teaches you how to sit with yourself so you don't chase what arrives loud and fast, mistaking noise for love. Because when you're full, you don't grab just anything. You can taste what's healthy. You can feel when something is off. You can walk away without your chest caving in. You stop moving like you're starving and start choosing like you're sustained. And that changes everything. Because we're not stuck because life imprisoned us. We're stuck because we keep walking back into the same chapter. Rereading the hurt, rereading the fall, rereading the versions of ourselves that did what it had to do to survive. And then we wonder why life feels repetitive. The past is not the prison. Your attachment to it is. We fear what comes next because history taught us the unknown can hurt, can break us, can give more than it gives. So we cling to what we know, even when it's painful, because pain we recognize. It feels safer than possibilities we don't. You keep revisiting the memory like something new will appear, but you can't step into a future you refuse to imagine. You can't receive what's coming if your hands are still holding what tried to leave. Every chapter expires, even the ones that saved you. Growth doesn't happen in rewind. Healing doesn't happen in reply. Elevation doesn't happen in what feels safe, especially when safe is what broke you. Some of you keep rereading the chapter because the next one requires a stronger version of you. Good. That's the point. The healed you cannot breathe in the same room the wounded you was suffocating in. Healing isn't erasing the past, it's graduating from it. It's the moment survival turns into living, when the lesson becomes strength, when the version of you that kept shrinking finally gives itself permission to expand. You don't move forward by forgetting what you survived. You move forward by outgrowing it, by saying, I cannot stay here anymore, and become who I was meant to be. Stop rereading what you already survived. Your next chapter isn't waiting on life, it's waiting on you. Your past should not have a better attendance than the people who love you now.
Wow.
How was that?
Lots of things, beautiful. Lots of things pulled from that. And everybody, again,
Yeah.
it's very subjectionable because somebody might hear something that I don't hear and the other way around. What really stands out for me when you said desperate for power, which I correlate to also desperate for control, the power of control.
Yes.
When we try to control situations, and with the word power, I thought about this, I want to say in the last year, easily. I was going to try to pin it down to the last 6 months. What's stealing my power? What's stealing my power? And when you think about using the power analogy, you have things plugged in around your house. They call it phantom power. Just because it's not on, it's plugged in. It's using an amount of power. And what's taking it from you? You know, that was
Or who? Or who's taking it from you?
Honestly, it's who.
Right.
And that's, that was something I identified and, made a little changes. That's on me though, make those changes. And something else, and we've often heard it, but it was very clear in what you wrote and read that you have to let things go before you can take new things in. A relationship, be one of them. A job. You can't get that awesome new job that's going to pay you more and respect you and great people you're around if you're holding on to one over here.
Right. Or settling.
Or settling.
Or settling for things that feel comfortable because we're afraid of what's next, or afraid of failing, or afraid of not getting that next job. If kind of going on that analogy that you're talking about. And that's why people repeat these patterns. We do them out of fear, or we do them out of feeling comfortable because the known, right? The things that we know, regardless of what they are, feel more comfortable and safer than the things that we don't, because we can predict the things that we know. We know when we're in abusive relationships, or we know that we're in, something that's toxic. We know what the worst outcome can be because most of us have already survived it. It's that unknown, that taking that chance, that new person that comes into your life with a gift, who comes into your life and appreciates you, or comes into your life and is willing to hold you for who you are and love you for who you are, not for the broken version of you that keeps you stuck so that they can feel better.
Isn't it interesting that we will hold on to things that really don't support us, even if it's not a great relationship? It's not good for you. You shouldn't be in it. It could be abusive, but you hang on to it because it's the known,
right?
As opposed to the unknown. Well, if I let it go, I might be alone. I don't know what that's like. It's unknown.
Right.
I may meet somebody else and they're even worse than this one.
Exactly.
The unknown.
Mhm.
How, Sherri, how do we find the strength, the faith to approach the unknown, to make those changes?
I think it's from just practicing the pause and taking a minute to build ourselves back up, to have self-care, to be able to feel comfortable in sitting with ourselves. When we feed who we are, if we can nourish ourselves, like I wrote kind of in the poem, is that then we're not starving. It's like when you go into the grocery store and you're hungry and you buy every snack that's on the shelf and you walk out with a $300 grocery bill versus a $150 grocery bill because you're hungry and you're grabbing what's going to sustain you or grabbing what's going to in that moment fill you. But those are just loud, fast noises that just kind of, you know, perceive themselves into being something that they're not. So if we cannot go to the grocery store hungry, it's the same thing with life. If we can wake up every day and know that we are important and we deserve it and we are somebody worth investing in, because if we don't invest in ourselves, how can we expect other people to invest in us? We can't, right? We show people how to treat us. And the more that we tolerate, the more that it will continue. And that's on us because we have to say, no, enough is enough. I deserve better than that. I don't deserve to be treated that way, you know, or we're living with the guilt or the shame of past mistakes that, you know, continue to plague us or haunt us. And out of that, we don't feel like we deserve something better. Or we don't deserve to be healed, or we feel like we have to keep rewriting that chapter because we think that if we do that, it might change. It's not going to change. It's the next chapter that changes. It's not the past chapter. It's not the one we're in. It's the one we're reading. It's the one we're heading towards. It's the one we're turning the page to. That's the one that we make the change in. And so just having the patience and understanding that we don't want to just keep repeating those same patterns. We don't want to keep going backwards. We want to take that pause and decide, how do we want to move forward? What's next for us? And I deserve whatever that next step is, whatever that next chapter is. I deserve that because I'm a good person. And that's where it comes from, is that sense of self. If we don't believe in who we are, or we don't make ourselves a priority, nobody else is going to make us a priority, because the ones who try and we're not ready to receive them, we're going to push them away. Because we're going to keep going to the ones that we feel like we need to prove ourselves to. So if we keep going up against that abusive relationship, and if we can only get them to love us, then we must be worthy. If we can get them to stop abusing, then we must be worthy. If we can get them to pay attention to us, then we must be worthy, because that's where we're getting our sense of self from, not from the people who come in and say, hey, you're worth it. You're worth investing in, and I love you, and I want to be with you, and you're a great mom, and you're a great friend, and you're a great sister, or you're a great husband or a wife. Those are the people we have a hard time with because we don't believe it for ourselves. And if we don't believe it for ourselves, we're not gonna pull in people who are going to give it to us. We're going to stick with the people that we want to change because that's where we think we're going to get our sense of self from. It is not where we get our sense of self from, because those people are now empowered.
It's so interesting how, even with your intuition, where you think you got to make a choice A, choice B, and choice A comes up, and it's, well, that's easy. No, that can't be the right one. It's got to be more difficult. And it's almost the same thing in what you described, even in that relationship situation, where the perfect person could be right in front of you and wants you for you. But you look at it and say, well, that's too easy. I got to earn it. So let me go back and try to show this person who is not right for me. But you're not thinking that. You're just thinking, I'm going to show them that, I am. So I'm going to even push harder. And if I do, then they will see me and they will understand. And
and then there's my sense of worth, right? Because then we've achieved something. But it's not, all it is mind shifting. That's all it is. It's not
right.
It's just our mind playing tricks on us because it's been battered and bruised and traumatized, and negative patterns have repeated themselves. And that's what we're used to. That's what we're accustomed to. If my mother couldn't love me, if my father couldn't love me, if my husband couldn't love me, if my wife couldn't love me, then I mustn't be lovable. And we have a hard time taking a step and pausing and saying, you know what? Maybe it was them who couldn't love. It's not that I'm not lovable. It's maybe they couldn't possess whatever needed to be, within them to love somebody else. And that's really what it's about. It's about their inadequacies, not about what you deserve. And I think that's a hard thing for us to conceptualize.
I agree with you. And yes, it's a relationship takes two.
Mm-hmm.
You got to always remember that.
Absolutely.
However, when you take a look at those other relationships and those people who they had stuff to figure out. I lived that journey, something that could have been so perfect, except there were things behind them, childhood and such, that weren't addressed and then eventually came up.
Right. Two broken people can't heal each other.
No.
They can walk side by side, but they're going to be in the same rabbit hole. And you need to have somebody that can help you out of that rabbit hole, because once you go down it, it's a slippery slope, and it's really hard because you don't have your footing to get back out. And that makes it really hard.
Yeah.
And then you just start pulling people down with you. And now next thing you know, everybody's in the swamp.
And you can't find somebody to heal you.
No.
And you might not even realize you're doing it.
No, it's an inside job. Healing is an inside job. And if you, like I said earlier, right? If we don't believe in ourselves, we're not going to trust somebody else to believe in us.
Right.
Because history has shown us that people either lie to us or manipulate us or have reasons for themselves, self-preservation. It's not about us in that relationship. It's about they're fueling their ego, they're fueling their sense of self, they're fueling what they need to do to heal, and they're using you as the punching bag. Well, that's not fair, because nobody deserves to be the punching bag, regardless of the situation.
There's so much insight in what you shared, and many different levels.
Oh, thank you.
I wrote something last night. This was totally unplanned.
I know, this is crazy, right? I can't wait to hear it.
And this is the short version of it, because I threw it on social, a Facebook post, LinkedIn. This is the shorter version of it, and we're just about out of time.
Okay.
But here's the funny part. In what you read, you used the word crumbs.
Mm-hmm.
And that applies in a different way to this. And it's called eat a cookie like a kid. Not distracted, not rushed, fully present. I was enjoying a cookie the other day. No phone, no meeting, no agenda, just me and the cookie. And it hit me how rare it is to actually enjoy the moment. When you were a kid, you ate a cookie and you enjoyed every bite of that. Nowadays, when we do anything, we're distracted, we're doing other things. In business and in life, we rush from one thing to the next, deadlines, calls, meetings. We forget to just be. So that cookie reminded me, stay curious, be present. Life and leadership is sweeter when you savor what's right in front of you. Sometimes the best insight comes from the crumbs on your shirt.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
And you said the word crumbs. And
yeah, and how fitting, right? Because we're talking about nutrition and nourishing yourself and being depleted. And the universe had a way of us connecting this all together today. I love that. I think it's amazing.
I don't think there's a doubt in that.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Because this was not planned.
No.
I wrote this 2 hours ago.
Get out of here. Are you serious?
No, I swear to God, I wrote this 2 hours ago. I just had thoughts in my head, and I just started scribbling them down. And while I was waiting for you to come on, I actually wrote one on dissociation, which I haven't finished yet. But I thought, wow, that might be a great topic for next week. And the thoughts just started pouring out of my head. And so, yeah, I didn't plan. I actually, as of this morning, I didn't know what I was going to talk about.
That's freaky, because I don't write. I just don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
And last night, snow coming down. All right, I got into a groove. I was going to write one thing, then I wrote another, and the other thing I wrote. Not going to read it, but I've had this fascination with horses since this summer. I ran into a horse and just felt that connection. And then I got that they're more than just work animals. They are intuitive, plugged in. They figure us before we even walk close to them. And then I realized in Chinese astrology, starting on February 17th, it becomes the year of the horse. The fire horse.
2026. That's right. Absolutely. It is. Yes. And horses are so powerful and have so much just spiritual meaning to them and what they represent and their strength and tenacity. And I'll tell you, when I was a kid, I used to take care of the neighbors' horses, and for mucking their stalls and cleaning them, I would be able to ride their horses for free. And I would jump on that horse bareback and I would fly through the woods, and there was nothing freer or more healing for me than being on that horse. It was absolutely just amazing.
I feel this calling that I need to go to a stable. And there's a number of them around here. It's not like, I'm in New York City proper where, good luck with that.
Right.
And I just want to be in the pen. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to ride the horse. I just look in its eyes, maybe pet it, hang out, have a conversation, whatever it might be. And I'm good. I'm good with that. But it's there's a calling. And then, of course, this year would be the year of the fire horse. And, there's other things in there. Not going to bring it up on the screen. If you Google it, what the horse represents in Chinese astrology, that just like eating a cookie like a kid, just like, what's stealing your power and the charger analogy, there's lessons there.
Absolutely. And 2026 is a growing year. I believe it in my heart. I believe it in my soul. I feel it. There's going to be just some amazing things happening for everybody in 2026.
Funny you should say that, because I don't know if I shared this, but I don't do a resolution. I do a word for the year. And last year was execution. That was my word. And I executed some things.
Yeah.
They didn't grow, a few of them like I intended them to. So I adopted that word, growth or grow, for this year.
I love it.
And you just said that word. And I think that's also part of the fire horse. That's part of in Chinese astrology and the horse representation. This is a freaky, weird, coincidental conversation.
The universe had a bigger plan for us today, and see, it all worked out wonderfully. I love it.
And here I am thinking that you wrote that beautiful piece months, weeks ago, whatever it might be, a year ago.
No, just a couple hours ago.
That is just crazy. And me writing mine, I did it last night, hours ago.
See, it's great.
That's wild.
Words are very healing. I believe that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And this is what you do. You and your team help people heal. You can work with others virtually.
Yes.
But certainly in Massachusetts, in the area where you are. How do we find you again?
New Beginnings WC. So it's our website. We have a Facebook page, New Beginnings Wellness Center Facebook page. And I try to keep our Facebook page up to date with all of our posts and all of the different trips to Ghana and the different community events that we do, so people can kind of stay plugged into that. And then our website is newbeginningswc.com.
Beautiful talking with you today. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for sharing that. It's so funny how that all just came together so nicely. I love it.
I could be shaking my head like, how did that happen? But I'm just going to let that go, because that's the way it's supposed to be.
Right? It's amazing.
Right.
I love it. I love it.
We'll talk soon. Appreciate it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is busy, I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.